Hey, you got the Great Alofa here, part of the Samoan dynasty, and you're listening to Off the Top Rope with my man, Loudmouth.
In conjunction with specialized supplements.
I'm not taking
Right.
that.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages and denominations, I have got with me Samoan royalty, three-time WWC Tag Team Champion, one-time CPW current Tag Team Champion, the current QPW Heavyweight Champion. Did I leave anything out, Lloyd? Did I leave anything out? There's so much
Yeah,
there.
there's a lot of other belts that I carried. So, but you're good right now. You're good right now.
Okay,
We'll leave it like that.
perfect. The first thing I'd like to do, though, OUMA RUSKS.
Oh, my favorite.
These ones are not.
Yes,
These ones are not muesli. These ones are peanut butter flavored. They're awesome.
it
These
doesn't
things.
matter, man. It's okay. You
How
got me
many?
hooked on those.
How many did you eat while you were here in South Africa?
I don't know. I think I ate a whole bunch of them. I think I had coffee at least 3 times a day. So I had it with coffee all the time. I probably ate a whole box by myself. You never know.
Yeah, yeah.
They're awesome.
It was one of many foods I think that you enjoyed here in South Africa.
Oh yeah, man. The food there is phenomenal, especially the lamb, and I mean just I had a blast. All the food was great there.
Awesome, awesome. I want to start off by asking a few questions just about the family before we come to South Africa. Was there ever pressure, or were you ever pressured into becoming a professional wrestler from your dad, Alpha, or any of the other males in your family?
No, I wasn't pressured. It was something that I chose to do,
Hmm.
because besides wrestling, I am in law enforcement as well, and that's what I wanted to do when I was younger.
Right,
But after a while, wrestling was just natural to all of us.
right,
From my dad and my uncle just being in it, and I guess people just say you Samoans are just naturally born for the wrestling business because it just becomes natural to us. So it was there. The wrestling was there. It's just that if I wanted to do it.
right.
And then as I got older, when I started turning like I was wrestling in our backyard when I was young, but as I turned like 14 and 15, that's when I went full blast and started wrestling.
Right. And in terms of the wrestling itself, I mean, we mentioned Puerto Rico in the beginning. The WWF, ECW, I believe ECW was 96, 97, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yes, yes.
you performed pretty much at the top level for a long time. Where was your favorite place at that time to wrestle?
Well, with WWF, or when it was WWF, then now it's WWE. My favorite place there was always Boston Garden,
Right.
and of course Madison Square Garden. I did one house show in Madison Square Garden. That was like everybody wants to wrestle in Madison Square Garden.
Yes, yes,
So that was an opportunity of a lifetime. Just too bad it wasn't TV, but it was whatever. I took it. I was young, so
yes,
whatever they gave me, I took it.
sure.
But also too with ECW in the ECW arena, that was, man. I mean, that building is just got something about it. When they had the ECW in there, the crowd was just phenomenal, and everybody looked forward into wrestling in ECW arena when we went there. Of course, we were on the road too with ECW, but
Mhm.
when we went back to 2300, the 20 that we called the 2300 building,
Yeah.
that was it. I mean, that was home.
Did you stay in the cylinder of sin?
I'm sorry.
Did you stay in the cylinder of sin?
Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah, I've heard some. They're not stories to be broadcast, but I've heard some really strange stories coming out of that hotel.
I've seen a lot of stuff that went on in that hotel and also in the locker room in the arena. There's stories, but I look at it as great times that, right now, how the wrestling, is coming more and more about right now. But just those days they were golden days.
Yeah, yeah,
They're really great days.
right. And then wrestling in Puerto Rico. Now I've spoken to some other shall we say elder states gentlemen in professional wrestling that have wrestled in Puerto Rico, and they have mentioned there that it's like nothing you will ever experience anywhere else in the world. Did you at any
Mm,
time feel that Puerto Rico was dangerous for your health?
of course, a lot of times,
Hmm.
but it kept me there longer because I actually, believe it or not, I enjoyed it because I knew I was doing my job well.
Right.
Because if I had the fans trying to hurt me or chase me back in the locker room, I know I did my job well, and I went out there and did it 10% or 20% more than what I did for that night.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of stories. I mean, a lot of times where I had guns pulled out on me. I had boulders thrown on me from the
Hmm.
top of the arenas, like especially in the baseball parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually come out of the dugouts, to the ring, but we would come out of the dugouts, but we could never go back in because they had it trapped off, especially as being the bad guys and being vicious over there. They wouldn't let us in. So we had to go all the way around to the end. And
Mm.
that's where they had the rocks and they used to throw it down on us. So, I went through a lot, especially with long hair and wrestling barefooted. They
Yeah.
used to throw they used to go in the bathroom and get the dirty toilet water and pour it on me. But you
Mm.
know what? I just sit there and take it.
Okay.
That's all
Okay.
you can do. You can't complain. You just got to go with the flow.
Yeah. Now, Puerto Rico is notorious for a lot of blood. Did you
Yes.
did you also share your fair share of blood in that arena?
Oh yeah. I mean, we had some great matches down there, but we had a lot of bloody matches too. There was a lot of barbed wire matches. I was involved. A lot of cage matches. And I'll never forget one time I got busted wide open from one of the guys I was wrestling against. His name was Pulgarcito. He was a big, heavy set guy, but he was the crowd loved him,
Yeah.
and we were in a cage match, and I he threw me into the cage, and I caught a piece of the cage, like the middle part,
Yeah.
and my head hit it. And when I came back, I just saw my skin still on the cage, and next thing you know, I just felt my whole face was just like it just felt hot, and I said, "Oh, I'm done." So I was like, it's freaked me out because I saw my skin caught on the cage, and I'm like, "What is
Wow.
that?" It was a piece of my forehead.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Oof. Okay. Now
Hey, I
that.
got the scar to prove it right there. I got the scar to prove it right there.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll get to school. We'll get to scars a little bit later. But
Yeah.
at that time with the WWF, WWE, ECW, and Puerto Rico, what was your favorite match out of that period of time that you were wrestling there?
Wow. I mean, with WWF, I had some great matches with 123 Kid, which is X Pac,
Yeah.
and Tatanka. Tatanka and me had some great matches.
Right. Was he going through that phase where he was still undefeated? Because he went through a
Yes.
phase where he was undefeated for about 2 years.
Yes. That's just before he did his big match with Razor Ramon.
Okay. Did did
Yeah.
did, did they give you did they give Tatanka to you to school you up so that um you that he was ready for Scott? Or was it just a matter of they put you in they put you guys together just to see how you would flow.
Yeah, I believe so, because at that time I believe when we were working, he wasn't so much into an angle with anybody, but
Right.
he was a big star. So, me starting off and working with him, I was happy, I
Yeah.
was grateful. And from there, that actually the matches I had with him and X-Pac, besides my family being
Mhm.
with them, my dad was there, my brother, my cousins, and all that. Actually, Sergeant Slaughter was in charge at that time,
Yeah.
and you remember the Strongbows, Jules and Jay Strongbow.
Yeah.
Well, Jay Strongbow was in charge as well, and he told my dad, he goes, all you Samoans could work. He goes, man, we're gonna go ahead and put the kid on the road, and that's what they did. They put me on the road, and I was on the road with no contract, and I was
Oh
making
wow.
great money. So I was happy. I was young, and I was doing what I loved.
Right. Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, post that period of time, along the way, you've had some great matches, some great international matches. How did you find yourself coming to South Africa?
Well, that's a kind of a story.
Mhm.
I was talking with Mark Beal, the owner of the company in South Africa,
Yeah.
and we were talking for a long time, and he was always wanting to bring me over.
Hmm.
And it just so happened that he had somebody helping him with the booking, and they were talking to my brother.
Yeah.
So when they told Mark that, hey, we got one of the Samoans coming over, he thought it was me. And then when my brother showed up, he saw it was my brother. But when my brother was there, he did what he did what we do. We handle business and do things the right way. And so from him being over there, then I came over,
Right.
and then me and Mark finally got to meet. And then
Fantastic.
he kind of like you know um, called me the OG of the group.
Right. Right.
you know so from there, we were coming over there, and we did the Arnolds over there with the company, and what we did, we came over here, we went to India. I mean, I've had great time in South Africa, but with the company, with Mark and everybody, it's just been great, man. It's a great company to work for. It's solid and very respectful, and they treat you like gold.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. The one of the highlights of Wrestle Monster 3 was Alpha Junior doing the moonsault off the top rope, and the guys he's
Yes.
going in between the guys. And the guys didn't catch him, and he finally hurt his
No.
hip. Now,
Yeah, he landed on me.
no, we talked afterwards about that spot. How you try to talk him out of that spot. Was it
Yes.
in terms of all the wrestling that you've done before and all the dangerous stuff have you done before? Did you look at that and go, that's a step too far for us? You know, I know we can do a lot of things, but that's not something we should be doing.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go out there and do things that you want to, challenge yourself,
Hmm.
in the ring. And he's done it before. You know, we do splashes off the top rope all the time.
Yeah,
That stuff. You get used to. But when he wanted to do that moonsault off the top out to the outside of the ring, I told him, I said, I don't think you need to do that, because it's a risk, and we're too big for that.
yeah,
So I was kind of tempted and scared about it for him. So I told him, I tried to talk him out of it, but he wanted to do it. And went out there and we did it. And next thing you know, he's coming off the top. I'm looking up like this. And I look to the sides, and there's nobody there but me. And there it goes, pancaked me, and ended up fracturing his hip.
yeah, yeah. The the strange thing about that is right afterwards we went to the game reserve, and you guys still went hunting afterwards and
Yes.
trekking through the bush and trying to yeah, I can't remember I think it was a Roy book or something like that that you guys were gonna was gonna go and shoot that like it, and he looked like he was in a serious amount of pain, but he
Yeah.
marshaled through it, and I still to this day I still can't figure out how he did it.
Yeah.
Speaking
I mean,
of
hey,
yeah, tough guys. Speaking of scars, and speaking of things that you shouldn't actually be doing, we went a little far the night before the hunt, where how can I put this? How can I put
Come on,
this?
spit it out. Spit it out.
Nightmare and myself got branded by Arthur Jr. and by Lloyd. Lloyd branded me on the leg with a kettle prod that wasn't provided per se. It would just happen to be there. And is that one of the stranger things that you have done in professional wrestling?
Yes, by far. I've never branded anybody, but I can truly say that I did now.
Well,
Thanks to you, and I appreciate you for letting me brand you.
I'm appreciative of taking it. Unfortunately, I don't know if I should. Let me get it up here. It's supposed to be on my leg there, but
Uh-huh.
it's faded.
Okay, so that means we have to
We'll
give
we'll
you another
we'll
one
we'll have to do it again. That was
for sure.
I must admit it didn't hurt.
Yes, right.
Oh, we can do it. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'll do it. Do anything once when the Jack Daniels was almost finished. I was okay with it.
What Jack Daniels? What is that? What does it do to you?
Oh no, it didn't do any. It sort of numbed the pain, but
Yeah, that was the guy that was sitting with us, right? Jack
yeah, it was
Daniels.
Cornell. It was Cornell.
Yeah. No.
What
Yeah, I
really?
know. I'm just joking about Jack Daniels.
Yeah, no, it was the Jack Daniels just acted as a numbing agent. Everything else was circumstantial. So you did the hunt, and then afterwards we did Arnold Classic. Arnold Classic was one of those once in a lifetime kind of things because it was just such an experience. The people there were just so receptive to all the
Yes.
professional wrestlers there. Um, would you say that South Africa have got the best fans in the world? If you're not, who has?
I mean, I've been a lot of places where where there's been great, crowds. For example, like in Chile. We were in Chile and
Mhm.
there was, I think, 17,000 people
Right.
in there,
Wow.
and it was the atmosphere was just unbelievable.
Mhm.
But when we went to South Africa and we were there for the Arnolds and even for you know, other shows there, for the big one we have that every year.
Yeah.
Um, what was it? I think
Yeah,
when
that was
me and my
Wrestle
brother
Monster
did
3.
the tag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wrestle Monster
Wrestle Monster
3.
3. Yeah.
When we were there for Wrestle Monster 3, I think there was what, close to 12, 13,000 people. You couldn't see. It
Yeah.
was so far up the beach. It was unbelievable. And just the crowd was phenomenal. So yeah, South Africa is definitely one of my top places for the fans and the crowd. Really had a great time.
Yeah. And
And
then
I see that they enjoy wrestling.
yeah, yeah. And then you nearly got mauled by a lion. I,
Well,
I wish I still had that. I
man.
wish I still had that video clip where you just sitting there minding your own business, and this lion cub just start having having a go at you, and you're like, no, thank you, no, thank you, I'm okay, no, thank you. Try to be respectful to this thing that's trying to take a bite out of you.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Sorry to
We had a
interrupt.
good time. Actually, I have no. I have. I think I still have a video of me with the lions. I was feeding the lions,
Yeah, yeah,
and the cave at the wire that they had here because it's electricity, so the lions knew that they couldn't come close to it. But man, I put that chicken in there, and they snatched it out of my hand so quick. So that was another experience that I enjoyed. Just feeding this big old lion, and she was nice. I can't really say anything because she was gentle, but I mean, we were there taking pictures with her. She wasn't crazy or anything like
mhm,
that. I mean, well, she was no, that was a tiger. I'm sorry. She was that actually a liger. I just found out that there was ligers. I didn't ever knew that there was a liger,
oh right,
which is a
okay,
tiger and a lion
yeah,
mix. And I found that out from South Africa. Thank you very much, South Africa, for and letting me know and enlighten me that, all my life I never knew they were ligers.
Yeah,
So now I know.
yeah, and they're pretty much the biggest cat you can get.
Oh
They're
yeah.
phenomenally huge. They're phenomenally huge. What is what is the Great Alofa busy with at the moment?
I mean, because of the pandemic and everything going on, we were all of us in the wrestling business were in everything. Everybody was slowed down in life
Yeah.
because of this. Now that everything is opening up and everybody's doing stuff now that wrestling's on the road again, WWE's on the road, you got AEW, got all these companies back on the road and doing live events. Things have been picking up. I mean, I've actually got a few things lined up. I have two movies that I'm going to be doing pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing some events. Matter of fact, on October the 2nd, I'm going to be being my brother Manu Alpha Jr. will be in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We have a big event there with the Headbangers. You remember them?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we're wrestling against the Headbangers there, and then I am involved in a one of the biggest conventions and wrestling shows that go on, and this is the second one, which
Mm-hmm.
the first one was in Japan for the great. I mean, it's an honor to say his name, Bruiser Brody.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, they did a big, Bruiser Brody Cup in Japan a few years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
they're finally one in Texas, and so I'm gonna be on that, and I'm kind of honored to be a part of that,
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
event.
Do
And as
you
well, right now I do hold the QPW Heavyweight Championship for Qatar Pro Wrestling,
yeah.
and February, hopefully, I'll be going back over there and putting that belt on the line against somebody. You never know; it might be a big name. Everything's a secret right now, so
Of course,
we'll
of
soon
course.
find out.
Excellent, excellent. And a lot of the people that might not know it, and people that might know it, you're in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, I did the trailer with my cousin Roman
Yeah,
Reigns. Yeah.
yeah. Seeing you running there in the background. Now, I don't wanna say anything negative, but you are kind of a bigger gentleman. Is that type of thing something ideally that you'd like to be doing? Running like that. I mean, look, the visual was great with everybody running together with in the formation and things like that. That was great. How many times did you have to do that?
We only did one take.
Thank God. Thank God for that. I despise running with a passion. I despise running. Lloyd, how
Yeah.
many members of the Anoa'i family are actually involved in professional wrestling?
Ooh, man. Well, we just man. I want to say there's 14 of us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep, as many as that. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And
It's
we
all over the
lost a
world.
few. We lost three of our family members that were very famous in wrestling. Yokozuna,
Hmm.
Umaga, and Rosie. 3 minute warning.
Yeah,
We lost those three, and they're truly missed. But we try to live on the legacy from my dad and my uncle, and we try to continue going and just you know keep going. That's all we can do.
right, right. I want to just go back to the training side of it. Were you treated differently when you were doing your wrestling training? Was it a matter of um not kid gloves, but were you treated a little bit harder than the rest of the students because you were part of the family?
Well, it's always like that. Any parent wants to see their kid do anything right. So I was always there to, my brothers didn't rough me up. My older brother, he roughed me up when I was younger.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I was training, I was training the guys, and there was no, take it easy on me. I did everything they did. I was
Sure.
training them, and so me knowing what I was doing, but still, I had to, go through with everything. There was no lightness on it, you know. Just like my younger brother Alpha Jr., you know, Manu. We trained him when he first started when he was 13 years old in the hotel room.
Oh wow, okay.
And yeah, and we tortured him, me and my older brother. I mean, he got to the point where he used to run out of the room because he didn't want to get trained by us. But his first match was in um, Austria, in Vienna, Austria, at 13 years old,
Oh
and we
wow.
trained him for that. From now on, he was on. He was that was his debut, and he kept going.
Wow, that's fantastic. I want to ask a controversial question, if I may.
Yeah,
Out of all the members in the family that are wrestling, who is the most talented?
I gotta say we all are because we all have the same style, but we all have our different ways of doing things in the ring. I mean, as you see, if you see one of us, you can see the style of wrestling in all of us.
Hmm.
But I'll be honest with you, I have a nephew, Jacob Fatu. He works for MLW, and
Yes.
his dad, the Tonga Kid, was a natural as well. I mean, I can't explain it for the people that know him from years ago. The Tonga Kid, he had the agility, he had everything. I mean, we all do, but he was like a firecracker,
Yeah.
and his son is just like him, and he is on top of the world right now. I mean, I love him to death. I mean, every time I watch his matches, man, he just impresses me more and more every day.
Naturally talented.
Yes, naturally. And we're all naturally talented, but he's got that little kick in him that,
Yeah.
he goes that extra mile, because he's got that just like his dad. He's just like his dad when he was younger.
Yeah. Does that annoy you a little bit? Because yes, everybody's working on a standard, but then you look at him, and he's got the standard, but it's just it's just a little bit more. Do you look at him and go, "Ay, I wish you just want to grab him and just
No, no, not at all, because I'm happy for him because we all had our shots in our times where we were just like him. But
hmm
right
hmm
now, the industry, the way he is, he's living up to how we are plus more because of his talent.
right?
And yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, I'm happy for him. I
Okay.
would love to. I would actually love to do something with him in MLW. Maybe even manage him or work with him.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
thought about it before. You know, uh, he's just. Who knows? Maybe we can try to see if we can get him over to South Africa one time.
Sure. That'll be great. That'll be great. Super. We have him up against Ananzi.
There you go.
Yeah.
Then you have enough Samoans over there to work with everybody.
Yeah. There we go. There we go. What is exciting you about professional wrestling at the moment?
I think professional wrestling right now is on fire. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, I mean, if you look at it, I don't know how much you guys see over there, but when the things they're doing right now, for example, with WWE, when all the stars came out, like when Edge came out
Yeah.
to his old music, the Brood music, fans went crazy.
Hmm.
When Brock Lesnar came back, they went crazy. I mean, the crowds are involved, and the biggest thing I've seen was with AEW when CM Punk came out that night in Chicago. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
The crowd was phenomenal. But the best one of all is with Chris Jericho when he has a match with the guys work with I think it's
MJF.
ML yeah,
Yeah.
MJF. With MJF, where he could not play his music, he could not do this and that, and the crowd sang his song. That what gave me goosebumps. I mean, I was it was unbelievable. Where you
Hmm.
can get a whole stadium of 15 to 16,000 people, and they're just singing his song. It just blew my mind.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you that the people want it. The people been waiting for it all this for what, a year and a half without having live events and everything. And they're just, I mean, this right now, wrestling's on the top of the world right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there one gimmick in the wrestling fraternity? And I ask this of everybody because um, how you present yourself. And I say this to the guys that train with us. You are when you're out there and you're a professional wrestler, you are the CEO, the CFO, your marketing, your research and development, you all of these things, and you have got to sell yourself to the world. That is how you present your brand. Is there
Absolutely.
is there a gimmick that when you look at the gimmick, it doesn't click for you? You just
There's a-
That's indifferent.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of gimmicks that I've seen that I didn't really like and didn't figure it would work out.
Hmm.
But it doesn't matter. Let me explain this to the people that are listening to this. And it doesn't matter what gimmick or what character you have. It's up to you to make it work. If you
Okay.
cannot make it work, then yeah, it's gonna look horrible. It's gonna
Hmm.
look like crap. But if you can go out there, for example, look at my cousin Rosie. He went out there and he wore a mask, and him and Hurricane became the biggest tag team, in WWE. The people loved it.
Yeah.
And stand back. There's the Hurricane. It became a thing because you know what? They did their character well. So
Yeah.
anybody that has a character, if they believe in themselves and they feel they can get that character over, then that's the best thing to do because you have to work more than 100%. You got to do 110, 120% to make the fans know what you're trying to do as that character and to get it over.
Yeah. When you look at somebody like Nikki Cross now, who's doing Nikki ASH, almost a superhero,
Yeah.
is that kind of an homage to what Matt was doing with the superhero in training? Do you think there's an homage there? And when you look at it, you go, "Hey, that was Matt."
Yeah, I mean, I see it coming back like what him and Hurricane did, but
Hmm.
I guess she came up with the idea. It was something that apparently her she was getting over, and but she wasn't getting over.
Yes.
So she actually created her own character and she presented it to the company. And of course, Vince McMahon said, okay. And I think she's doing great with it. I mean,
Yeah.
the people, the fans are buying it. They're
Hmm.
buying it. And she's a hell of a worker, great worker.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Vince as big as an asshole that people think?
Vince McMahon is one of the smartest businessmen I ever met or know in my life.
Hmm.
Uh, Working for him, it's an honor. He can be rough because if it's either his way or the highway.
Sure.
Of course, he owns the company, so whatever you give him, it's got to be his and not his idea.
Hmm.
And you try to make it his idea so it can work. But I mean, smart for the business. I mean, people may think he's doing some crazy things, like for example, right now I wasn't too happy of some things he was doing, but
Yeah.
it all made sense to what it came up above to be.
Right.
So I mean, when it comes to the business, he's 76 years old, but you know what? He's still his mind is sharp,
Right. Right.
and I know nothing. Our family has nothing but respect for him. We're very close to the McMahons. My dad is very, very close, and my uncle are very close to them, and we all are. But the relationship is very close with my dad and my uncle, and it'll always be like that with the McMahons because they always kept us involved with the company. If some of us weren't with them, they would always bring somebody in our family in there because Vince knows that Island Boys can make some money for him.
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
His dad always knew it too.
Yeah. Yeah. It goes back. It goes back. What, more than 40 years?
Yes, yes.
More than 40 years. So it really is an incredible family legacy. Would you put it on par with any other wrestling family, or do you think it's a separate entity above from everybody else? The Von Erichs, the Rhodes, the Flairs,
Yeah.
any of that
Oh
stuff.
yeah, you got the players, the Von Erichs, like you said, the Rhodes, the Hearts, which the Hearts were very close with, the family. But what puts us now, I shouldn't say on a pedestal, but puts us higher up in the level is because we are a dynasty. And that's why
Yeah.
they call us the Samoan dynasty, because there's so many of us that have made it to the top, or even and some of us that haven't, but still the name speaks for itself. So
Yeah.
there's so many of us. I mean, you got the Von Erichs, there was what, 3 or 4 of them, and then you got the Hearts, which are 4, 5 of them, but
Yeah.
when you get to the amount of family members that are in the wrestling business like us, where you get to 14 or 15 of us, that's when you become a dynasty, and that's what
Yeah.
keeps us and it separates us from everybody else.
Would you encourage your kids to take up professional wrestling, or are you like, just, you know what, do whatever makes you happy? If it's wrestling, it's wrestling. If it's American football, whatever it may be, are you pushing them towards wrestling, or are you letting them be their own people?
No, I let my kids choose to who what they want to be. You know, of course, if one of my boys, I got 2 boys and 1 girl.
Mm.
If they decide they want to get into the wrestling business, then it's going to be natural for them too, because they both are all around it, and they get in the ring and all that stuff. But it's up to them. I
Yeah.
would love to see my younger son. He's 13 years old. He's already 6 foot tall.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so he's definitely wants to play some football. So I'd rather see him do something like that. And then if he wants to get into wrestling, he can do that at another time, because wrestling is always going to be there. Wrestling is always going to be here for us and for the fans. So I would like to see him play football. If he can get a scholarship and go to the NFL, that'd be great. But
Yeah.
if he chooses to go to wrestling, then let him go. I mean, I'm not going to stop him. If he feels like he wants to do it, because I know I'll be in his corner, or
Yeah.
either one of my sons in the corner 100%. Of
Would you train him?
course,
Yeah.
of
Would you
course,
be?
you know.
Would you give him the Manu treatment?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I got it, so they got to get it as well.
Well, they call it
That's why
legacy. They call it
yes, and they'll
legacy for a
respect
reason.
business.
Yeah. There we
Yeah,
go.
they'll respect business like we all do. We get
Yeah.
trained like that, and we go out there and do what we got to do. I mean, and they may be a little rough and hurt some people in the beginning, but we all did that.
Yeah. Sure.
We were trained.
Yeah. Now, before I go, Lloyd, and once again, I would like to thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. You have got a stable. The Great Alofa is training 5 people, one from each company: WWE, AEW, Impact. Um, if you watch Impact, ROH. If you watch ROH, and New Japan. If you watch New Japan,
Yeah.
one person from each one of those companies that would fall under the tutelage of the Great Alofa.
Well, I got to give the credit to my dad, because without him and the training school that we have, we
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to train these guys.
Yeah.
But I had the pleasure and the honor of working and training a lot of guys that are big names, as you would know and the fans would know. We had a big, um, you know, how should I put it? We had a big thing with a lot of guys, training
Mhm.
them and helping them to
Yeah.
wrestling, and just getting their first start. But there was a lot of guys that came out of our wrestling school, like Gene Snitsky.
Yeah.
I helped train him and do a lot with him. But one of the biggest would be Dave Batista.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just telling this. A matter of fact, I was just telling this on another podcast about. They asked me about what was my relationship with Dave, and
Mhm.
still to this day, I have a great relationship with him. I haven't talked to him for a little while, but I've went to his home, in Tampa, Florida. I live in Tampa now,
Yeah.
and I don't live too far from him, but he's a busy man right now. But
Yeah. Sure.
when he first started with us, he was actually a bodybuilder,
Right.
and
Okay.
he wanted to get into professional wrestling. So he came to my dad, and I was in Puerto Rico at that time wrestling, and he had started wrestling and training with my dad. And then when I came back from Puerto Rico, my dad asked me to help train him.
Sure.
But with Dave, he was very specific. He did not want or anything like that. He wanted to get trained by my dad or my brother or myself.
Yeah.
So we spent time with him, and it got to the point where, I was training with him all the time. And finally, when he got that big break, I was on contract with WWE at that time, and they wanted to see him. So they told my dad to send him up there, and went up there with him. And
Mhm.
I went over there and had a match with him in front of the office, in front of the big honchos. They wanted to
Yeah.
see him. And, he did great. He did great. And, that was the first person I ever seen that got a contract overnighted to them. Before we
Wow.
got back to, we were living in Pennsylvania at that time, and we were driving back, and it's about maybe 2.5 hours back from, maybe 3 hours from where we were in Connecticut, in
Yeah.
Stamford, Connecticut. And the time we got back to Pennsylvania, he's got a phone call, and they're telling him that they're going to overnight him contract. So
Wow.
that was the fact I've ever seen somebody get a contract, and I was happy for him. Dave's an
Yeah.
awesome guy.
Yeah. Did you put him over?
Of course, that's what they wanted to see.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The wrestling school that that you train at, and that the Samoans have, um, has a speciality of training big guys.
Yeah.
Gene, Batista, a few other big guys. I mean, Yokozuna was there. Yourself is there. Big, big, big guys. Is that a specialty of yours, or is it just easier for you guys to relate to bigger guys because you started off in the business being bigger guys?
Yes, and the part that, that part is a little true, because we are big guys,
Sure.
and that's what we specialize in, is big guy moves and all that. But we've trained a lot of guys smaller. I mean, we train anybody. We can
Yeah.
train a broomstick.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
you know, but we can train anywhere. But yeah, we like the big guys, because we know how to handle, we know how to tune them up and
Sure.
get them ready, because we're big ourselves. So it all makes sense in that department to go ahead and, try to help these big guys to, get to where they want to be, and that's on the big TV.
Right, perfect. Lloyd, thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. It's taken a bit of time to get to this interview, but I'm actually glad that we have done it. We hope to see you soon. Again, being the CP one half of the CPW Tag Team Champions, we want to see you come over and defend those titles. And it was a pleasure having you the first time and the second time. Third time's a charm. Come back.
Yeah,
My
for sure. Yeah.
I may have slimmed down from the last time you see me, but there's still a lot of space here. There's a lot of space to kettle brand. Looking forward to it.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. And I look forward to coming to wrestle in CPW in South Africa. It's one of the best companies on the continent of Africa. And
Awesome.
I would not wrestle for any other company but CPW. Like I told you, Mark Beal is one of the best, and CPW is one of the best in Africa, on the continent of Africa, and South Africa. And fans, look forward to seeing the Great Alofa, the Samoans, back in South Africa soon.
There we go. Lloyd, thank you very much for your time. The Great Alofa on Loudmouth presents Off the Top Rope, uncensored, uncut, and training the big fellas.
Yes, sir.